And welcome to episode number 66. I hope you got that right, Sam, of the PTFooty podcast. I am your host, Peter, and today I am joined by Sam.
Hello.
So, no Zach today. Uh, he's got class, apparently. Pretty sure he skipped to watch bars, so that's all right. I'll forgive him. Um, we got a couple things to get onto, so we might as well start with the ugly, and then we'll start, and then we'll go to the better things for other fans. Not me, but other fans are gonna enjoy it. All right, so I'm gonna start off by saying that like today I woke up from a dream where and I'm not kidding, like this is true. Like Benfica had just lost like a game, and I wake up and I was like, oh shit, I just had a dream about the Boavista game. Like, yeah, it was that bad. I don't know why, but it was kind of weird because I woke up and I was like, shit, that wasn't a dream. That actually happened. Yeah, it kind of sucked, but whatever. Anyway, moving on. Benfica played Boavista at the best. They lost 2-1. Can't be asked to score for Boa Vista, and Jonas scored for Benfica like really
I
early
know
on.
Renato Santos scored one. Moshi scored the other.
Yeah, it was not, and then like some other frango, which you don't even need to talk about who scored because that was a total own goal, basically. Anyway, Varela in goal, Almeida, Luizão, Ruben Dias filling in for Lisandro that had a fever, so that happened. Grimaldo, Salvio, Filipe Augusto, Pizzi, and Zivkovic in the midfield with Jonas and Seferovic up top. All right, let's get this game, and I'm gonna try and break it into pieces. So the beginning of the game was really really good.
Excuse me.
If you can start off, that's okay. You can cough all you want. I know you weren't trying to piss me off, so that's okay. So if you can start off the game really strong, they got a couple chances, scored a goal, and then continued to attack. Wagner had to make a couple of big saves. I remember Zivkovic shot, and there were a couple more other plays. If you go really over Boavista, obviously not throughout the whole 45 minutes, but 25, 30 minutes, it was pretty much Benfica. Then we kind of slacked off a little bit. Boavista attacked, but nothing, didn't create any danger, something that you could say, oh, this game could be leveled at halftime. So, by halftime, I'm like, okay, this is 1-0. We're probably going to grab another goal or two, and this is going to be good. All right, so that didn't happen. Benfica started off the second half just incredibly poor. Is a terrible performance. The goal, I can't really. It's one of those goals where you can't really do much about them. The first goal, the ball just falls inside the box. The guy ends up doing a great ball control and then just smacks it inside, into the goal. So I can't really blame him on that goal. But after that, there was no reaction. There was no type of effort going around, and then that frango, that absolutely howler by Bruno Varela, that is still mind-boggling how he makes that mistake. And I was actually, this kind of screws me up a little bit because I was having a conversation with my dad, and he's like, "Oh, Bruno Varela is not good enough for Benfica, yada yada yada," and I'm like, I agree, but he hasn't made any mistakes, so I can't, say for him to get out of the goal when he hasn't made any actual mistakes. And he goes ahead and does that like 5 minutes later, which, it costs us the game. To be honest, I think even if the game was 1-1, Benfica would probably pick it up in the end and actually end up winning. But that second goal just kind of killed them off, and I didn't really like seeing the same old stuff. We were just passing the ball around, not really booting the ball forward. Just kick the ball forward, just try and create chances like penalties, like when Sporting got with Coates. Like that's the type of thing that you got to do. You got to punt the ball forward and hope that some defender makes a mistake or something like that, and you can get a good foul outside the box or a penalty or create some danger, which we didn't do at all. It's the same old, same old. You bring on Raul and you bring on Gabriel, but I mean, you're not really doing anything if you're keeping the ball around the bag. There's a few positives, but when you end up losing a game that you should have won and you played to win that game for the first 45 minutes, it's inexplicable how the drop off happens in the second half. Like, it is ridiculous. We had so many good. I mean, I'm not going to say a lot because Benfica doesn't create like 7-8 chances per game, but they normally create 4 or 5 and end up scoring 2 or 3. Like, that's the motto of Vitória. Like, that's how Benfica plays. We don't create a lot of opportunities, but we end up scoring. We end up scoring a lot of goals. Um, but anyway, Jonas had a shot that got saved. That was a really good save. Zivkovic had another one. We were all over them, and I can't understand the drop off. I really can't. Uh, like, credits due to Boavista, they try to get the result, but it's still ridiculous that they got out of there with a win, because a tie would have been unfair. And I mean, unfair. I'm not even sure if I want to call it unfair, because it wasn't. Because in the end, we didn't play enough to come away with even a point. So it's really frustrating. It's just two halves of completely different football. One where you're like, okay, this could have ended 3-0 at halftime, and another one where you're just like, okay, we didn't even create one opportunity. I don't know, Sam. Did you watch the game?
I watched the last, I think, 15 minutes. So it's like straight after Bruno Varela's little mishap, and I have to admit, Benfica did look poor. Even when they needed to score, they didn't really do much. And I'm not sure if it was like that the whole game, but they just looked poor to me. And like you said, Bruno Varela, I rated him last season. Was it Setúbal? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But then I saw him in the under 21 Euros, and he was just poor. He's awful. So, and I don't think he's a Benfica quality goalkeeper. I think they need to either bring back Julio Cesar, give that Sevilla guy a chancing goal. Excuse me. But that's pretty much all I can say. Like a proper frango from Bruno Varela. But also, Benfica fans, chill out. It's not. Everyone's dropped points somewhere. So stop calling for Vitória's head already.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm not. Some people are already saying like the Pinta is impossible. Well, I mean, I think it's not the first time that Benfica has been in this situation. I just think that they didn't need to be in this situation. That's one thing, but for them to not be able to get back, I think they can. And from a few positives, I guess I can take a small positive is that Gabriel, what's his name, Barbosa. Right? Gabriel Barbosa,
Yeah.
I think Gabigol, yeah. He always looked good on the small sample size of what I saw from him, so I would like to see more. At least he's one that kind of looks like, even at the end of the game against Boavista, he looked like he was trying to, play against what we were trying to do. He was trying to shoot. He was trying to create play. So that's a small positive. But I mean, I can't really blame the defense or anything. Like, in this game, it was just kind of weird because the whole team just massively dropped off in the second half. It is what it is. I'm not going to continue in my football propaganda because that will just take way too long again. I already talked about it last week. PZ picked up his game. He played kind of better. Jonas could have easily scored a hat trick in the first half. But then it was just poor. It wasn't a good performance out of anyone, and we gotta live with the fact that we dropped three points. I'm not gonna say 3 easy points because playing at the best is never really easy, but it is what it is, and I really can't say much more. I just expect that we pick up on the mistakes that we made, and try to figure out what actually works for us, because I think we're just lacking an identity at this point, which is worrying, which is reminding me of what you said last season about Sporting. So we'll see how things go. I remember last year you guys dropped points against Riwab and then just kind of never really got back into it. So who knows? That might happen to us.
In the last 4 games, you've only won once. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe it's already begun.
Yeah, I mean, the CSKA Moscow, I'll give it, more to not it's not actually totally our fault that we lost that game or even tied it. We didn't deserve either of those results, but the other ones were totally deserving. the tie against Rio Ave, this loss against Boa Vista, and we shouldn't even have won a Chaves. So I mean, it is what it is. I just hope that the team ends up picking it up, and I'm sure that they're going to rally back, because if it's one thing that I think everybody, even Portistas and Sportingistas, kind of point out about this team is they're very willing to fight for their manager and try and achieve that goal, and they play as a team, and I just hope to see that in the next games.
I just butt in quickly, like you said, like I said last year even, about Sports that Georgius didn't have a starting 11 until like January, February. I still don't think Rui Vitória has that at the moment. I think he's still, but that's not. I'm not saying it's due to him. It's due to the injuries. I think Benfica have had 16 injuries already this season in terms of minor and major. So it's not. It's not just that Rui Vitória can't find it. It's the injuries as well, which play a massive part. And I don't think a lot of Benfica fans have noticed that yet.
Yeah, that is a good point, and to close this off, I'm gonna touch again a little bit more on the defensive midfielder position, and I'm not even going to mention names, just playing styles. What Benfica looks for in that position is more of a player that destroys the play, that looks to break up the pass and to create an immediate pressure losing the ball. And when you have a deep laying midfielder, a guy that likes to pass the ball around, that actually created more than Pizzi the past few games, it hurts you that way. It's not his fault. What I believe is that we should have had an exact replacement of Feza. Like, you know what I mean? Like an exact replica of what he is. And not trying to adapt the player there. Because, it's not going to work every time. So I do want to point that out. I know a lot of people, I figured out, aren't really against Filipe Augusto, which kind of finally, it's finally making sense to them, I guess. But I just wanted to point that out. That I think Benfica, even if FaZe is healthy throughout the rest of the season, as soon as he comes back, we still need somebody to back him up. Because eventually, he might not get hurt. He might get suspended. He might get sold. We don't know. We need an exact, player like him on the bench. And to point out, Ruben Dias played really well as well. He didn't make any mistakes, so it was a very solid debut from him. So, but all right, I think that's it. Expectations for the Braga game tomorrow. A very difficult game. Hopefully with a lot of changes. I want to see Douglas play. I don't give a shit if he's not fitness ready or whatever the hell they want to call it. I want to see him play because he has to play. Hopefully we'll continue to see Grimaldo, and some other guys get rhythm. Hopefully Gabriel plays, and we can just kind of take it from there, because we got a difficult game against Passos on the weekend. So, all right, I think that pretty much settles it. Unless you want to, butt in on anything else that I said.
Nah, you've covered everything. But like you said, though, I expect you to field tomorrow against Braga with a fully rotated team. Even though I think you don't have enough centre-backs to do a full rotation at the moment, so you probably have one, like Ruben Dias, and I don't know who else would play there. But
maybe Lisandro or Jardel, maybe, because there's rumors that everyone's fit, which is a miracle. So I'm guessing even if everyone's fit, tomorrow we're going to get an injury because we can't have a full squad.
Maybe.
All right. Let's move on to greater things, at least for you. Two sporting games to talk about. One good, one not so good, like kind of trashy, really bad. At least according to your tweets that you wanted to tweet to sleep and not watch the game. So
it's because I'm tired. The game was boring too. So
I know. So Sporting played Tondela first. That one. Matthew and Bruno Fernandes crushed my dreams. I kind of turned it on like in the final 20 minutes, and he scored, and I was like, okay, right, I'll just change channels again. So he kind of ruined my dreams. But anyway, Patricio in goal, Piccini, Coates, Matthew, and Coentrão across the back. William and Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, Yuri and Acunha, Alan Ruiz and Bas Dost. Sam, what did you think of this game? What did you think of the performance?
I was very impressed with the performance, actually. I feel like we did very well offensively and defensively. Shout out to William Carvalho, my man of the match. Didn't misplace a single pass, won every ball back. Didn't let anything go through, so Coates and Mateu were pretty much just there for the whole game. Speaking of Mateu, what a fantastic free kick from a centre-back nonetheless, just absolutely fantastic. And that also led to Sporting's former centre-back, Andre Cruz, saying that he hopes that Mateu can do that even more in the future. So hopefully next time there's a free kick, Mateu gets on it. Because I think recently it's either been Bruno Fernandes or Mateu, and both of them have been scoring. So I think we've got a lot of depth in the free kick department. And speaking of Bruno Fernandes as well, just, again, fantastic player. Another fantastic goal. He doesn't score normal goals in the Liga NOS. So I think for 8.5 million euros, that's an absolute steal. Bruno de Carvalho said that Sampdoria wanted 14 million euros, but he managed to negotiate down to 8.5. So good work there from Bruno and the scouting department to find Bruno Fernandes in such a cheap deal. So for me, like I said, William, man of the match. Room for improvement, I guess. Alan Ruiz he's always pretty bad. I think he's just coming off an injury, so you don't expect him to play as well, but he literally misplaced every single pass, just got outpaced, didn't look like he wanted to play. So Alan Ruiz was my worst performer. William was the best, but that being said, I thought Coates was a very good player as well. Didn't misplace the passes, like I said. 1 tackles, 1 passes as well, I must say. And I think that's where we did lack a bit last season, with dominance in the with Ruben Semedo and Coates. So I'm glad we have a more solid centre-back partnership as well. Bas Dost also, very poor game. He's been poor the last couple of games. I think that's because he doesn't get enough service. I don't think we're going as much cross-orientated as last year. We have wingers, unlike Bruno Cesar and like Joel Campbell and Marcus last year, who can actually cut into the box and create chances for themselves. Unlike Bruno Cesar, just crossing into the box, hoping Bas Dost will score. So I do feel a bit sorry for Bas Dost, but as long as we win, I don't care who scores.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, I mean, I was gonna get to it in the second game, but might as well get it now. I heard you were unimpressed with Yuri.
For the last 2 games, he started the one against Tondela and the one against Maritimo, but I just don't see how he thinks he can earn a starting spot. He reminded me a bit of Joel Campbell, just going for ridiculous shots. And there was this one where he was literally 1-on-1 with the keeper and he put it past the post. I don't understand how he did it. At least get it on target. But the last 2 games, he's literally been awful. He can't seem to outpace anyone. Can't seem to dribble past anyone. That reminds me, Gelson, when he came on as well against Tondela, he was awful. I feel like I've said about this to him a lot, but he always tries to do too much. He instead of passing, I don't know, to Dost or to Acuna, to Alan Ruiz. I know he came off for Alan Ruiz, Battaglia even. He would just try to do step overs and get around the defender and just end up on his arse. So I think Gelson needs to work on the passing on his game, and I think it does piss off George Jesus, especially. You saw him shouting at Gelson a couple of times and at Yuri. So I think them two really need to step it up in the next coming games.
All right. I mean, I can't really talk about this game because I honestly wasn't in the mood to watch it, and like I told you, I clicked in the final 27 minutes, and Fernandes scores that banger, and I just switched back. So I'm gonna take your word for it. I do have to say though that right now, to me personally, I believe Sporting is a team with the better football and the better team, like starting 11, like actual team. So they're to me the front candidates, and like I told you, it's no secret that I don't like Sergio Conceição, and that duel is coming up, and I'm if I had to bet my house, I'd bet it on Sporting because I just I expect them to win that game against Porto, and I expect them to continue their dominance. I expect them to beat Moreirense. I expect them to maybe go undefeated for a couple more games. I don't think it's going to last. I think it's going to be like something unexpected because we always, being the big team, you obviously expect to win at least like 28 games, and that barely happens. So, Sporting are gonna drop points soon because it's something inevitable. But they need to continue to ride this way, which I think is going to continue for at least a couple more games.
I don't know about the Porto thing. I think we're pretty much even. I'll say Sporting has a better attack, but Porto is, I think, by far, not by far, but I feel like they have a better defense than us at the moment, especially
Okay,
in the fullback department.
I'm going into the sneaky prediction that Casillas is regressing. I just don't ask me why. I just got that sneaky feeling that he's not going to be as good this year. Uh,
He's only conceded once, and that was
in
against
the
whoever they
league,
played in the
in the
league. Yeah,
league, but
but true, he did have a couple of. I'll say a couple, a lot of
it,
mistakes against Benfica.
I'm not like Porto fans do not get piece of me. I'm just saying that he might be some slight regression that we weren't expecting. I don't know.
I think he's always been a bit not dodgy, but I think
Inconsistent.
inconsistent. That's the word. So I
Yeah.
don't think he might not be like we said, he might be playing bad against Besiktas. But who remembers last year? Everyone said the same that Casillas was slowing, getting even slower, and then he came against Sporting and had one of the best games in the whole season. So maybe he'll
Yeah,
probably do the same.
that is quite true. Um, all right, let's move on to the other game against Maritim that obviously ended 0-0. This one's for the Taça da Liga, so not as worrying. Sporting fielded a completely different, except for your completely different starting 11. Salah goal, Ristovski, Tobias, André Pinto, and Jonathan Silva across the back with Petrovic and Mateus Oliveira in the midfield, Yuri and Bruno Cesar, Alan Ruiz, and Dumbia. I'm going to straight up ask you thoughts in the game and thoughts on Ristovski, man.
Risovsky was man of the match by far. In one game, he's already done more than Piccini has in, I think, 6. So for me, I think Ristovsky needs to start next game. He was so quick. He didn't do much crossing, but he was quick. He's quite strong. He's got good technique. I don't think Piccini. Let me rephrase. I think Piccini should be very worried about the starting spot for right back.
I will say that being with the family and all that, not paying too much attention to the game, I did see that amazing recovery run that he made. That was pretty
Oh
good. I'll
yeah,
admit that.
he super fast. I knew he was quite rapid, but I didn't know he was that fast. Literally, he reminded me. Do you remember Gareth? And not exactly the same, but Gareth Bale. I think against Barcelona.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
like that. Like that's how. Not as fast, but it was still like that amazing to watch. I feel Ristovsky could be a starter for a number of games. I hope he does start in the important games. I'm not sure if he starts next game against Molinense, but Molinense. Oh fuck, I'm tired. I can't remember the name. Yeah,
What?
let's just go with he's Molinense, right?
Yeah, it's
Molinense.
Moreirense, bro. Moreirense, yeah.
So yeah, I don't expect him to start there, but I hope he starts against Barcelona next Wednesday because I feel like he'll be very well, and I think he'll complement Gelson quite well also. But that being said, like I said, Yuri played poor again today, disappointing me. I can see why George has loaned him out so much. That with no disrespect to him, but he might be just one of those players who is good for teams like Boavista and Estoril and teams like that. But when
Arauca.
when it comes to teams such as Benfica, Porto, Sporting, they seem to not do well. Another example is Danilo from Braga. He didn't do well last year. Suk, I don't know, the
Yeah,
Korean
Suk, yeah.
footballer. Same
Yeah,
same
Suk.
thing. Yeah, so I think he's going to be one of those players unless he steps up his performances. Salin was a bit of a mess in goal. He gave the ball away quite a few number of times, especially at the
Surprising,
start.
if I have to say.
The start, literally. So the ball came back to him. He went to take a touch. He went for his legs, and then he waited for one of I think it was Edabessa to come towards the ball, and then shot it against Edabessa. Then went to the Maritime player, but luckily it didn't turn into anything. But against other teams, that definitely would have resulted in a goal. So I'm glad Salin does not start for the for their first team.
For the national team, Jesus.
I'm tired, like I said.
Yeah, that's alright. I'll give you a break.
Jonathan
I mean,
Silva was
yeah, go
poor as
ahead.
well. I was just Jonathan Silva is poor. I don't like him. Same with Adam Ruiz. I feel like they're both not sporting quality at the moment, and they could get better, but I don't see it at the moment.
I have a sneaky crush on Ruiz. I like him.
Adam Ruiz.
Not how he's playing, but you know the last year, final 6 months, Alan Ruiz playing center forward. That's the one that I like.
Not playing as well as he was last season, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he's a second part of the season player. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the thing.
I think he might just be like Quaresma was in the Euros, just a good impact sub. He'll come on and do the job, but from the start, I don't think he'll play very well.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't watched enough Sporting to comment on that. So, got anything else to say? Doumbia.
Doumbia should have scored about 3.
Yeah.
He was poor.
Missed out wide, like a
really
shot,
went out for a
like,
throw in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, from what I've watched, I thought it looked kind of even with Sporting having most of the chances, though. I think Maritim could have created some impact on the counters if they actually had, like their starting 11 out there. But I don't know. Can you complain about the result being a draw? I mean, not given the chances that you had because you had more, but were they actual real chances?
I think they were. I think if maybe Dost was there instead of Doumbia, we would have scored. But what was I going to say? I can't remember a proper chance that Maritimo had. To be honest, like there was not one where I thought, oh, they're going to score here, or oh, that was nearly a goal. So I think we did deserve a win, maybe like a 1-0. I don't think Maritimo deserved to get the tie.
All right. Anyway, now looking into it, do you know your group? Because I honestly don't. But
so Maritimo, Nacional, and someone else, which I don't remember.
You got Nacional, so that's easy. So I mean, who do you think advances? I mean, I don't know. It looks kind of even right now.
It sounds weird, but I hope we don't advance, just so we can finish. We can concentrate more on better competitions, such as the UNOS Champions League.
It's not ridiculous, but I actually don't think that you.
Don't get me wrong; it's a trophy I'd like to win, but
I
prefer to win the league than to win the League Cup.
If you can focus on two things, you focus on the Taça and the Liga, and I think that's going to happen. I'm not sure about the Champions League group. You guys beat the Olympiacos, so you're probably going to finish third on that and continue onto the Europa League. So you're probably going to keep three competitions.
We could cause a surprise victory
against Barca.
Maybe not against Barca.
I don't know.
I could see us getting a result. I could see us getting a result at Juventus at our home.
You got Juventus? Oh yeah, you're getting smacked around. No, sorry.
If you did well against Bayern 1 year, remember, my Hans Sporting do well against Juventus.
I know, but I don't know. I think you might, but I don't think you're gonna get the draw. I think there's a chance, but I think in the end you're gonna end up, like the Real Madrid game where it's devastating for Sporting fans to remember because it was so close. Like, but it's probably gonna be one of those games.
Hopefully not. But,
hopefully not as devastating for you. I mean, poor guy. I mean, on the 88th minute. I mean, come on, that's
Ronaldo or all people. Yeah.
That had to suck.
Speaking of which, he was at the
Alvalade.
For the Tondela game, and he was singing along to the Mundo Sabe Que song. So that was always nice.
Yeah, it's good for Sporting fans for morale. I'm just playing with you.
Definitely.
All right. You got anything else?
Not really. I hope we play against Moreirense and we beat them. Obviously, it's away, so it might not be as easy as people might expect. I don't think we can underestimate them. So,
All right, it's away. Yeah, it makes it a little bit harder. All right.
That being said, they are one of the worst teams, I think, in the league. So,
But they're managed by Machado, so the guy that was at Nacional, and then so I don't know. He's always
last year. So.
Yeah, but he's always, I don't know. He always performs kind of decently against big teams, so maybe. I remember Sporting was struggling against Nacional, so who knows? It's definitely not going to be easy. So, I mean, it might be one of those games where I'm just saying nobody's expecting a draw, and then all of a sudden, look at that, Sporting tie.
Yeah.
All right, so then the final game of today's episode is Rio Ave Porto. Obviously, Porto beat Rio Ave 2-1. With apparently a very good performance by Marega. Anyway, Casillas in goal, Ricardo, Felipe, Marcano, and Telles across the back, Herrera, Danilo, Brahimi, Marega, Abubakar, and Otavio. Sam, did you watch this game?
No.
Okay, so you didn't watch this game, so it's all down to me. Okay, so that's gonna be good. So, just for context, I was going to Barcelos for that afternoon, so I didn't watch the game, but I did listen to basically the whole game on the radio. So from what I've got was that Porto played very, very poorly in the first half, that it was an absolutely atrocious performance, even though they did have some chances to score. Don't get me wrong, I did see that, but I heard that it was really atrocious performance, and that was mostly because apparently the wingers, especially Otavio, was playing so goddamn near Marega that they funneled everything through the inside. That's what the commentators said, at least, so I'm going to trust them. But then in the second half, and I mean, I literally turned on the radio in the beginning of the second half, and it was sport, like they were just attacking and attacking and attacking. So when they got their goal, it was kind of expected. Marega had a chance just before that he should have scored. He went out for a corner. They scored in the corner. They just continue to press and press and press, and most of the times on radio, all I hear is Porto, they might score, and they don't. And it's like literally that, like they. Rio Ave took them a very long time to get themselves back into the game, and I'm not even talking just the goal by Nuno Santos. I'm actually talking in the game. But they kind of reacted, but it was just too late at that point. Nuno Santos scoring in the 80th minute. Maybe if it was a little bit earlier, things could have been different. But from what I understood on the radio, you got to give credit to Rio Ave in the first half, and you got to credit Porto for the incredible second half that they had. Apparently, Marega played really, really well, so there was that. Boubacar apparently played very poorly once again, and Brahimi was a very good player as well, with Otavio not impressing as much. Ricardo, though, to mention, played in 3 different positions. He played at right back, right wing, and left back. So there was that because Otavio came off for Maxi. Maxi went to the right back role, so Ricardo Pereira moved to the right wing. And then Alex Telles got hurt. I'm not sure about the extent of the injury, and Ricardo moved on to the left side. So, that was kind of interesting. I also heard that Herrera had a good game, but I can't really comment much on it. But from what I understood, it was a very, very bad performance in the first half, very solid performance in the second half, and in the end, the win is undeniably the right result for Porto. I do believe from what I managed to hear. I think that pretty much covers it. Really, I was kind of upset because I was expecting Rio Ave to give him a little bit more of a threat, but I mean, it is what it is, and apparently they did what Benfica wasn't able to do, and that was press the opponent into making mistakes and into conceding. So credit for Porto there. I'm not sure who they play. Oh no, they play Portimonense, right? So they play Portimonense on Friday, which to me is bogus. I mean, I'm not one to be, to focus a lot on the others, but this is just. I mean, it's kind of just unfair, and not even like I don't even care a lot from Benfica standpoint, but from the Portimonense standpoint, uh, those guys played on Monday yesterday, and they got to travel to Porto to play on Friday. So that's 4 days ride, and you guys do not want to go through a ride from Portimão to Porto. You just don't. It's just so tiring, and I don't care if you're not even driving. It's tiring as hell. So that's kind of like a weird scheduling by the Liga, in my opinion. I mean, because if you're going to protect Porto like you should, because they play in the Champions League, then at least you should have protected Portimonense to play on Sunday or Saturday or something like that, and not play on Monday, which I think is unfair. But I mean, that's just another thing to add to the list of our things that our league is bad at.
But I think it's because of the Champions League and that Porto have coming up. I don't think if it was another team in the Champions League, or if it wasn't a team in the Champions League, I think they would change it. But obviously, they want to get as many Portuguese teams in the Champions League as possible. So.
No, I mean, I think the game on Friday is fair because Benfica and Sporting both played on Friday when they had to play on Tuesday. But I think it's just more unfair to the team that has to travel there because they played on Monday, which I think it doesn't make any sense. Like, couldn't you have flexed the Braga Guimarães game onto Monday or something like that? I don't know. It's just kind of a bit unfair, but it's understandable in the end. I mean, and teams can't complain about these things. They just kind of have to go with it, really. Yeah, I mean, there's one little thing that I wanted to touch upon, but I'm not sure if you're into the drama here, Sam, about Maritim. I don't know if you're over that.
No.
So, and this, I just want your thoughts because this is all speculation at this point. But Maritim, as you know, I believe undefeated in the league. I don't think they've lost a game, and if they did, it was away.
Yeah,
But they haven't lost at home. They haven't lost at home for like over a year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, a lot of teams are complaining about the pitch because they're saying that the pitch is basically unplayable. Do you think? And this is where the speculation comes in. Do you think that that Maritim might be doing that? Like they since they prepare themselves on that pitch, they could know what's. I don't know. Is there anything behind a terrible pitch, and should the Liga intervene and not allow them to play on a pitch that's been bad for over 6, 7, 8 weeks?
I mean, it's possible that they do it deliberately, but I don't think they would. But if it comes from more than, I don't know, let's say 4 teams in the league complaining about the same pitch, I think something needs to be done there. The league needs to do something about it.
Yeah, I'm saying it because it hasn't been just one team; it's been basically everyone kind of complaining, and if they're not doing it on purpose, which I mean, I'm not gonna always put the malice intent on them, then at least the league should put some type of end to this and say, hey, your pitch is not in playing conditions. You got Unión de Madeira right next to you. You got the Nacional Stadium right next to you. Like figure it out. Like play in another stadium until your pitch, is in full condition. Because I mean, you want to get the best out of every game, and yes, that might hurt both teams. But one is clearly getting the advantage since they haven't lost in like over a year. So it's been working for somebody. It's not the opposing team. I don't know. I just wanted to, kind of touch upon that because it's always, worth getting the news around the league, and it is what it is. I mean, Zach wanted to touch upon the Braga youth system, so we'll get to that, but only next week. I don't know. Is there anything we've missed? Anything we want to say about this? I mean, I don't know. What do you got?
Just quickly, Slimani scored for Leicester today. Hadi Sacco scored for Leeds. Obviously, 2 former. Well, one of them I could say was a former Sporting player. The other one was just stuck in the B team for quite a while. And literally the Barcelona game just finished. They played Eibar. Barcelona won 6-1. And in that Eibar team was Paulo Oliveira. So, great joy.
Yay. All right. Then I'm just going to give you the rundown of the games and the table because I think about time for that. We haven't done it in a while. So, Marítimo 2, Aves 1. As I was saying, Aves complained about the pitch. Boa Vista 2, Benfica 1. Sporting 2, Tondela 0. Belenenses 2, Estoril 1. Rio Ave 1, Porto 2. Braga 2, Braga 2, Guimarães 1. Portimonense 2, Feirense 1. And Chaves 3-0 to Moreirense. So that was a lot of 2-1s.
Indeed.
That was all right. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 2-1s. So that was the result of the round. Anyway, Porto first place, 6 games played, 18 points, goal difference of 4. Hold on, let me change this. First Sporting. I know, because Google's giving me this incorrect. Doesn't matter. Sporting's first with 6 games played, 18 points, a goal difference of 15. Porto's second, 6 games played, 18 points, 14 goal difference. Marítimo is third with 15. Benfica fourth with 13. Rio Ave fifth with 10. Braga 6th with 9, Feirense with 8 at 7th, 8th placed Belenenses with 7, Vitória de Guimarães 7 points at 9th, and the top 10 ends with Setúbal with 6. Then we got Passos, Boa Vista, Portimonense, Estoril all with 6 points, Tondela with 5 at 15th place, so finally they're not on the bottom of the table. Moreirense 16 with 5, Chaves and Aves are the bottom 2 with 4 points. So Chaves bottom 2.
Are you sure the Porto thing's correct? I'm fairly sure Porto are above us by 2 goal difference, not the other way around.
No, because they've
only conceded once in the league. We've conceded 4. And
I see it. You conceded 3. Okay, I didn't make that. Yeah, so they're by 1 goal. That's my bad. They have 1 more goal. Okay, fair enough. That was my bad. So sorry, Porto fans. Porto is first. I mean, it doesn't really count a lot, but yeah, they are first. That's my bad. Thank you, Sam, for correcting me there. Next week, probably on Wednesday, right after the Champions League games, apparently, because we got Champions League games coming up, right?
Yep.
Next week. All right, so we'll be talking Benfica Braga, Benfica Passos, and Basel Benfica. We're going to be talking Sporting Moreirense and Barcelona Sporting or Sporting Barcelona?
Sporting Barcelona.
And we're going to be talking Porto Portimonense and Porto Monaco. I don't know, probably. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you guys, but a Porto Champions League game. And some Braga, because Zach wants to do that. All right, guys, that's it for today's podcast. I'm sorry we didn't talk a lot Porto, but I mean, none of us watched the game, but I couldn't. Sam was just lazy. Just kidding, Sam. But we'll see you guys, next week where maybe we'll see some changes to the league table. Who knows?